Hey guys, welcome back to Style Reviews. What we're taking a look at is Sentinel, their Metamor-Force line, Machine Robo, Revenge of Kronos, Baikanfu. This is kind of a subline that they're doing now with the Metamor-Force stuff. This is BARI-ATION. So of course those Obari type designs and stuff like that, I think they're going to start falling under this. Even though Dan Kuga obviously falls under that, he wasn't part of this BARI-ATION line, but I think if he was made now, he definitely would have been. So it comes with, of course, Ramstal, Kinryu, and Baikanfu. They do the Russian nesting style, combining style, which we'll go over and things like that. And it comes with just a shit ton of accessories, tons of hands, swords, and things like that for each of them. And instead of going over them like we normally do, where I hold up this, that, and that, let's go ahead and actually look at some high-res pictures of each of the accessory layouts so you know exactly what comes in the box. Alright guys, we're going to get the height and weight on these guys real quick. We'll start with the height. You can see the total weight for all of them. I don't know why it's fluctuating there, but it's been 1.2, 1.3. In fact, we'll zero this out. What you do, you just press 0. Okay. Baikanfu. Make sure. Let's get a consistent 1.1. These are pounds. Ram, of course, when it comes to pounds, 0. Kinryu, 0.2. Well, 0.1, 0.2. Alright, so total combined. I get readings between 1.2 and 1.3. It's the first time I've done this, but right now it says 1.2, so we'll go with that. Alright, so Ram is about 3.5 inches tall. Kinryu, 6 3/4. Baikanfu is about 10.5 inches tall. So there you go. Alright, and here's Ramstal. It's a tiny guy. Measured it again at 3.5 inches tall. And honestly, I think it's a really good look for him. I wish it came with an unmasked face. That would have been cool. The only gripe I really have with this design-wise is the separation between the shoulders. The shoulders actually extend in and out for the combination, which of course we'll go over, but I wish that they were able to close all the way in so that you don't see that peg there. But other than that, this is an insanely posable little guy. A really fun figure in its own right. The wrists even have, like, outside of swivel, they have the in and out and whatnot. 2 points of ab articulation. Swivel on both. 360 thigh swivel. Good amount of outward swing. Double knee joints, even though they don't go all the way calf meets thigh or anything like that. But feet go in and out. Decent ankle tilt. Could stand to go a little bit more inwards. There he goes. Alright. And of course, like you saw in the pictures, he comes with his 2 swords, Kinro and Nagase. Alright, and Kinro is the one that actually lets him transform into, or Ram transform into Kinryu and Baikanfu. So that's pretty cool, and he maintains those weapons while he turns into Kinryu, as well as Baikanfu, and the weapons just get bigger. It's kind of cool. There was another character, I believe it was like Guardy or something, who died, and that's how he got the Nagase sword. But Kinro is the one that holds the power in terms of his transformations and stuff like that. That's the one he has from the get-go. So taking a look at his alternate hands here, They just peg in, peg out, and I'm really glad that these figures use the peg in, peg out system rather than the ball joints and stuff like that. It's just so much easier. All right. Now, you can do the whole slide in, slide out thing, but the fingers on these guys are actually bendable and stuff, and they hold well. So, for like the double one, all right? So, like the weapons combined. For this one, you could actually take his fingers and bend them around him, bend them back, and it actually grips well. So, that's pretty cool. All right. Not going to do too crazy much. This is a longer review. 3 figures, but yeah, tons of pictures on the kumastyle.com review. Links, of course, in the description. Show off some of that articulation there. Again, that's Ram Stahl. Alright, and here's the second form of Ram. It's Kinryu. Now, admittedly, this is my least favorite of the 3. Not that it's a bad toy by any means. It's got good articulation and stuff like that. But in terms of the look, the helmet in particular is a really stark redesign from the source material. And honestly, I think the source material is a lot better. I can't wait until the renewal version of Baikanfu actually comes out for the Soul of Shikoken, so I can do a comparison. I don't know if you guys can see in the back there, but I actually have the original release of Baikanfu, and the only reason I'm not doing a comparison between this and the older version is because that one came out in 2007. The renewal comes out in a couple of months this year, 2017, and it's got a lot of refinements in terms of design, engineering, things like that. So I think it's more of a fair fight, even though there are areas where I think it'd be a pretty good battle right now. But, you know, you want to give the current the shine instead of something old, as I think collectors who get this and are going between the two are likely looking at the renewal version instead of going back and trying to find a toy from 2007. So, anyway, when it comes to Kinryu, got to make sure to have that chest tabbed in, but still comes out at times. Alright. Bicep Swivel. Lots of tilt in the wrist there. And one thing I've noticed on my copy, and this is a retail copy, I bought this, is that the shoulders don't stay open, or they don't stay closed the best. They're okay, but like if you're doing the bicep swivel, hold it closed or else it might come open and things like that. I might have a natural tendency just to pull it forward and open it myself, but that's my experience with it. He does have ab crunch, which is cool. I wish that he and Baikanfu both had some waist swivel there. That would be awesome. But he does have thigh swivel, which is cool. So you can see that there. So that's neat. Awesome engineering on their part. Alright. Good ankle tilt there. Lots of forward and back swing. Of course. There's that. Alright, he comes with both the, of course, Kinro Sword and the Shield of Justice. Get the weapon holding hands on. And I do like that they came with a variety of hands of all of them. None of these really feel like, even though I don't like Kinryu the most design-wise, I don't feel like any of them was disregarded or anything like that. Particularly Ram Stahl. They did an amazing job with him. And the cool part about this shield, instead of having to fit his hand in between the handle and the shield, that part actually flips up. Which is cool. And of course, again, you know, I guess I'm gonna shill myself here. But the full review and pictorial is going to be on kumasada.com. Link will be in the description, as well as the info button up above. With some more dynamic poses and things like that. Try to plant his feet the best that I can, but there he is. There's Kinryu. Alright, and here's the big guy, Baikanfu. One thing that's gotten a lot of complaints about this one, not a lot of die cast to it. If you notice the weight, pretty light. Even all together, it's about, 1.2, 1.3 pounds. Outside of the thighs here, I can't really tell where there's a decent amount of die cast, if any, to be honest with you. But still a fun, playable toy regardless. Just one of those things to where you gotta kind of factor in that when you're looking at price and whatnot. Now, looking at the articulation here, you see the ab crunch going. I'm trying to reach my hands around this camera. Good amount of neck swivel, but these pieces on the clavicle there kind of prevent it from doing some downward neck poses and things like that. Well, his head just came off, but you could see how he has the ball joint there. So 2 points of neck articulation, which is pretty cool. The head pops right back on. The shoulders, not quite 360, but can go pretty far back. 360 bicep swivel there. Same issue as Kinryu though, in terms of this shoulder piece popping out, but definitely not as bad. The wrist articulation is just awesome. I love that they added this part here for the additional tilt, as well as the swivel. Now, no waist swivel, plenty of ab crunch up and down though. He does have forward and back swing, pretty limited there. His knees, not quite 90 degrees, but it's there. A good amount of, surprising amount actually, of ankle articulation though, that ankle tilt. But overall, one thing that's really missing from him is thigh swivel. He has a little bit here, and you'll see in combined form, he actually completely loses his thigh swivel, which is unfortunate, to say the least. So, alright, it's Baikanfu. Let's go ahead and get this guy combined, then we'll take a look at his weapons and things like that. Alright, the first thing is going to be Ram into Kinryu. Okay. Oh, let me get these out first. You gotta bend the knees here. And you can see how these biceps actually go in. They just slide in there. And that's why they can come out. Like so. Alright, so there's the base of what you want to do in terms of getting this guy started. Kind of just doing a hangman here. Getting his feet. Ugh. Point it inwards, and then these as downwards as far as possible. Fairly straightforward. But I think the hardest part is actually dealing with the biceps, as you can see. But once he's in, the biceps actually hold better, believe it or not, on Kinryu. So and you can actually leave those shorter parts on Kinryu if you just want to have ROM inside of Kinryu. But the reason that they actually come off is because of, right, change the angle up a little bit here. Two, and this should, as long as the feet are right. There we go. For some reason the feet got, this foot got, yep. Got to make sure that the foot's downward like that so that it closes. There we go. Alright, now getting Baikanfu apart, you take this and you press it down a little bit because there are tabs that these pieces, those skirts, actually go on. And there's the bicep thing again. It's just kind of one of those what it is type deals. Yep. And I'm not going to edit this 50 million times to not do that because it happens. I mean, when you've got half a bicep, it's to be expected. Or half the bicep inserted. Alright, so let's see what we got there. Now, in terms of adding Kinryu, make sure that he's all good to go. It says removal of the fist. I don't know if that's necessary or not. I've read online that it's not. So, I mean, do at your own risk. I'm going by the instructions because it's not that big of a deal to me. So you can see it's pretty straightforward, the insertion of them. Okay. Okay. Alright, we've got our combined Baikanfu. I mean, doesn't look any different. And you really can't tell, in my opinion, that he's filled, besides maybe like the arms and the back with the knee area and stuff like that. But this one actually, unlike the old SOC, Solo Chigoken, it does a good job of covering up a lot of those gaps on its own without the fill. And I say the old SOC because I don't know what the new SOC is going to be like. It could be exactly the same fill. Now, one thing that this one came with was the alternate caps for the shoulders. So we'll check those out. Hold on by friction. They pop on and off, but they hold pretty tight. So 1, 2. I have no idea of what these have to do with anything in terms of show accuracy or anything like that. I think they're just artistic license, because they also helped Sentinel design those Rebel Tech Vulcan log, however you want to pronounce it, or however it is pronounced. Those Baikanfus as well, and they have that type of shoulder, that angular look to them and things like that. So I think it might just be a design deal there. Now, in terms of articulation with these combined, he still has the forward and back swing. He loses that thigh swivel. Ab crunch, not as much. The bicep swivel is not as much either, but still there, most definitely. So don't feel like now you're just completely losing out on this and that. That's not the case. But those are the main differences that I see. Alright, so of course he comes with both Kinro and Nagase, and these can actually combine. So let's go ahead and get these. I love the way that they implemented the changing of hands on here. Do the combination. And the cool part is that you can actually angle the hands out and stuff like that. Just really, really good articulation on this piece. No complaints there, besides those thighs. And again, this has been Sentinel, their Metamor-Force BARI-ATION Baikanfu. Check out the full review and pictorial on kumastyle.com. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Kuma_photos, and I will definitely see you guys next review. But before I go, we talked a lot about the articulation and things like that, but just to make note, you might not be able to see it, but you can see it in some of the pictures and stuff like that. Even though the finish on this guy doesn't necessarily like have any blemishes or anything like that, the paint itself, I don't know what it is about the candy paint used, but it's a lot like their bleeding edge armor under the re-edit Iron Man line. It tends to get this scratching and whatnot. Let me see if I can actually point some out. It's so hard to capture on video, whereas still shots and stuff like that, easy. But okay, there are definitely some in the forearm, as well as that hip armor. And right there on video, it's crazy because you can't see it, but definitely check out the gallery and whatnot on kumastyle.com, because even though it's not horrible, it's just one of those things that I definitely wonder about in terms of the paint they're using and things like that, to where, why is this a consistent issue with products using it? But again, this has been Sentinel, Metamor-Force, BARI-ATION, Baikanfu. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the full written and pictorial review on kumastyle.com, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.